It is 9 a.m., and out of respect to you and your time, we will call this meeting to order. It is the 12th day of June, and this is the Scott County Fiscal Court regular business meeting. And I would ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Let us pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Hamilton, if you're not too cold, can you call the roll?
Mr. Hostetler?
Present.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Wallace?
Here.
Mr. Foreman?
Present.
Mr. Ellison?
Here.
Mr. Pratt?
Here.
Mr. Livingston? Mr. Culbertson?
Here.
Judge Covington?
A present. With that said, then, let the record reflect that we do have a quorum and that we can conduct business and take action. First item of consideration are the minutes from our previous meeting. Those minutes were shared via email. Any questions or comments related to those minutes as presented? Motion from Kelly. Second from Mr. Jones. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Transfers as presented by our treasurer, Michelle Ray. Any questions or comments related to those? And let the record reflect that Magistrate David Livingston is now in attendance as well.
I had a question on the transfers.
Kelly, what?
The Parks and Rec equipment, is that, what was that? It was a big transfer. It's like
That
347.
Parks and Rec, it's the capital. So over the course of the year, 4 quarterly
That's our normal.
invoices, but the capital was not invoiced quarterly. Next year, Drew, he will invoice that quarterly, and that's what that was.
Okay, gotcha. I'll make a motion.
Motion. Second from Rick. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Bills and hand checks as presented. Questions or comments? David Livingston with the motion. Second with Ryan Pratt. I saw his hand signal before I heard yours, Mr. Wallace. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Let the record reflect that sheriff's fees in the amount of $72,611.39 were submitted by our sheriff, Jeremy Nettles. Let the record reflect that $176,984.01 in an amount of fees from the county clerk's office of Rebecca Johnson were submitted. That leads us to number 8, the most important thing that we do as a body, which is a budget. So we have the second reading of the ordinance 2603, our 27 budget. Any questions or comments before I ask Cam to read the summary of the ordinance? Cam, if you would do the pleasure.
Yes, sir. Ordinance 2603, an ordinance relating to the annual budget and appropriations. Be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Scott County, Kentucky. Section 1, the following budget for fiscal year 2026-2027 and the amounts stated are appropriated for the purposes indicated. Budget of Scott County fiscal year ending June 30th, 2027, summary analysis of appropriations. For the general fund, general government, $13,343,157. Protections to persons and property, $18,444,002. General health and sanitation, $1,403,163. Social services, $1,495,000. Recreation and culture, $2,979,823. Airport operations, $100,000. Debt service, $1,319,700. Capital projects, $2,181,009. And administration, $14,544,563. So total general fund is $55,315,912. The road fund, roads is $4,155,557. Capital projects, $300,000, and administration, $2,082,980. So total road fund is $6,538,537. The jail fund, protections to persons and property, $4,475,001. Social services, $10,000. Administration, $2,487,730. So total jail fund is $6,972,731. LGEA fund, protection to persons and property, $360,000. Roads, $200,000. Total LGEA fund, $560,000. Federal grants fund, recreation and culture, $250,000. So total for that fund is $250,000. Federal forfeiture fund, general government, $3,685. Administration, $500. So total for federal forfeiture fund is $4,185. ABC regulatory fund, general government, $38,816. So total for that fund is $38,816. Opioid settlement fund, social services, $260,000. Administration, $100,000. So total opioid settlement fund is $360,000. County clerk storage fund, general government, $99,900. Administration, $100,000. So total county clerk storage fund is $100,000. McCracken fund, social services is $2,000. So total for that fund is $2,000. Hospital trust fund, social services is $2,000. So total for that fund is $2,000. Capital improvements fund, capital projects, $801,000. Administration is $501,000. So total capital improvements fund is $1,302,000. So the total budget appropriations, total general fund, $55,315,912. Total road fund, $6,538,537. Total jail fund, $6,972,731. Total LGEA fund, $560,000. Total federal grants fund, $250,000. Total federal forfeiture fund, $4,185. Total ABC regulatory fund, $38,816. Total opioid settlement fund, $360,000. Total county clerk storage fund, $100,000. Total McCracken fund, $2,000. Total hospital trust fund is $2,000. And total capital improvements fund is $1,302,000. So the grand total, all funds, is $71,446,181. Section 2, this ordinance shall be published in the newspaper by title and summary within 30 days following this adoption. Section 3, this ordinance becomes effective upon passage and publication. The first reading was May 28th. The second reading is today, June 12th, 2026.
Questions or comments? Would there be a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. Dwayne Ellison. Any other questions or comments? Kelly Corman. Any other questions or comments?
Judge, just one quick comment. I appreciate all the work that went into it. I know all of our department heads, your staff, other magistrates. I know there's a lot of work goes into it, so.
No, I appreciate that, and I was going to take the vote, and then I was going to say that, Rick. Any other comments? Because there is a ton of work and a lot of effort from department heads, constitutional officers, and of course, Michelle, Stacy, Jeff, Kara, up and down the line. And it's a team effort. And, you know, this total funds is $263,327 less than last year's budget. We are adding 3 EMTs to really do everything we can to keep 6 ambulances running 24/7, and also adding 2 full-time court security workers that will support our new Justice Center when that's done. But, you know, 50% of our budget is wages and benefits for our staff. And the most important thing we do is provide services, and this budget, you know, focuses on continued services and you know, that that is the most important thing to our community, is to continue to provide great services from roads to public safety, and it's just a priority. I think we have our priorities straight. So appreciate everybody's work. Absolutely. Any other comments?
I made budget books for everybody like I usually do. They're just on my desk, so if you'll stay 1 second after the meeting, I'll grab them.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all very, very much. That leads us to Brooking Park project proposal. And I shared via email, JR, do you care to come up? And JR and I have gone out here a few times. JR's gone out more than I have, but JR met with Hamilton Hinkle, Mark Reed, and they have presented a proposal through our asphalt material and labor bid. They presented a $137,500 lump sum bid to mill approximately 2,950 feet of asphalt cracks, and then place a tack coat, and then put approximately 4 inches of asphalt surface paving on top of that, and then total area is 4,330 square yards. So that's the part of that 137,500 that I'd ask for your all's consideration to approve to move forward with. But also, just yesterday, June 10th, I should say June 10th, late in the afternoon, Monica sent a proposal because we need someone to help draw up the bid documents and also do some design work for the electrical to get service to the Musco lighting. The Musco lighting that we will do out here will be part of a Sourcewell, the cooperative purchasing group that we're part of. Musco purchase of this will be through Sourcewell, but Branch Sarah Carroll's made a proposal to do the bid documents and then also get with Shrout Tate Wilson getting all of the design for the electrical service done for a total of $14,950. They'll meet, they'll prepare the drawings, and we need to have some drawings done for the fencing and then also for the painting of the lines. Just so everybody knows, there's 2 by 2 by 2 tennis courts that are lined up out there, but on each tennis court, the plan is to have lines painted for pickleball as well. For this project, it's been recommended that we use the movable mobile pickleball standards that we'll just pick. We'll purchase. I think we can get cheaper by purchasing ourselves outside of this, but so I'd ask you to consider, and we can do this separately or together, approving the Hamilton Hinkle portion of the proposal, and then the Branch Sarah Carroll proposal for $14,950 to get the bid documents together and then help through the process. JR, your conversations with Phil, you'll pretty much be the lead, but they'll support you. And
the transformer and everything's real close for us picking up the new electrical service and everything. Phil was very happy with the way everything was set out. And on the milling, there are some places the cracks are 6, 8, 7 inches deep. They will go all the way to the bottom of the pavement and get all that milled out, fill them up, and then put the complete new surface on it.
But you all are going to handle taking that fence out.
Yes.
But we've got to get the electrical turned off too, right?
We do.
Yeah.
Mr. Beckett has agreed to help with his money.
Teamwork.
I'll handle it.
Yeah, so
You can take a grinder out there and
it'll be a joint effort.
A joint
between
effort.
us and Parks and Rec,
Well-
taking it down.
Gerald, when was the last time it got resurfaced?
12 years ago.
12?
How
When,
long?
right when we
Tennis
first got
guy.
on court, last street, 12 years ago.
At
wasn't it?
least 12 years,
Was
yeah.
that- was
I
that-
remember
was
it
that-
getting done, but
Just a repaint, or was that a?
No, they repaved it, but did they mill it down, JR?
no,
Last time?
I don't remember any milling on it. They repaved it, resurfaced it, yes.
You have any questions, David?
I do.
I don't know. anything
Chad
about
Wallace.
So the light poles, are we gonna still use the same light poles?
There are no light poles. They're on the fence, and we're going to take them all out. Musco's going to have, is it 3? Drew, you want to? I didn't see the placement yet. I saw but there's 3 poles.
Yeah, it's kind of zigzag, like,
Yeah.
you can picture 2 on
Yeah,
the road side and then
yeah.
1 on the opposite side, kind of zigzagged across to cover the,
The
And
height,
they're gonna be on the top of the fence?
oh, no.
They'll have their own base.
Like what you have
Okay,
at
yeah,
schools.
okay.
They shouldn't be on the fence.
the
Yeah.
height of the old poles are not.
So you're gonna get rid of the old
good.
poles and put in new, I got it.
Any questions for anyone? Yes, sir.
I don't have any questions. I was going to make a motion on the paving part because I'm going to recuse on the other part because.
All right, so there's a motion on the paving piece. Would there be a second? Second. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Would there be a motion for the Branstetter Carroll motion? Would there be a second? Second from Ron Pratt. Any other questions or comments?
I'm recusing.
You need to recuse yourself on that. Same there, so you have 2 recusals, Dwayne and Rick.
The reason is, Shrap Tate Wilson is the design team on a project that I'm doing in Fayette County, so I don't want any kind
Respect
of
that.
conflict
Yes,
there.
sir. So with that said, any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Sorry.
At the next meeting, we will bring a formal, or I'll share the formal Musco Sourcewell agreement for you by then, and we'll get that all tied together. But that estimate was $100,000. I think this is going to be a very cost-effective project, and very, very
We
excited
leave the
about it.
lights on there all the time, the way that it's currently set up.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this will be good.
yeah.
Right.
We'll move now to number 10, Road Department new hire, and Jeff and JR has been working on this.
Yes, good morning, everyone. On behalf of J.R. Brandenburg, I'm pleased to recommend Tyler Standifer as a equipment operating laborer. He'll start on Monday, June 22nd at $20.06 per hour, and Tyler does bring a good bit of experience to this position for us. So we're very happy about that. We still have 2 positions left to fill in the department, so that's where things stand. So I present that recommendation to you.
Questions or comments?
Motion.
Motion, but before Rick asks it, once we fill this,
Yeah.
how many, what's our, we're
Two
going
more
to
to
be
go.
2 down. All right. We're still on the hunt.
Have you got folks in the key for that?
No,
Looking
we're
at?
actively recruiting.
Second.
Second, any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. EMS new hires, you have some part-time 3 and 1 full-time, is that correct?
That's correct. So on behalf of Chris Runyon, we have 4 recommendations. The first is Trenton Taylor. He will start on July 6th. The pay rate will be $19.65 an hour. And as indicated, Trenton has his associate's degree in paramedicine and has a few years of experience that he has under his belt, so he'd be a good addition for us. And then on a part-time basis, we have 3 individuals. They'll all start on June 22nd. The pay rate, of course, is $14 an hour for an EMT. And that's Kevin Ducker, Sarah Smith, and Zach Smith.
Questions or comments?
He's filling the 3 full-time EMTs we just approved? I assume not, right?
Well, I'll present that at the next meeting.
Is Zach and Sarah Smith married?
Not that I'm aware of, but they're not. Zach and Sarah Smith, they're not.
Oh, okay.
It's just a coincidence.
I assume that Sarah Smith and EMT, says she's an
They could
ER
be,
tech.
but just not the one another. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. That leads us to an EMS grant application, and this grant application is open to EMS agencies and hospitals as well.
I think so, there's a hospital.
And it's KR Health, it's KRHTP,
Yeah, Kentucky Rural Health Transformation Program.
Transformation Program. I'm going to turn it over to Chris and let him walk you through the three positions.
Yes.
And then answer any questions. But there is zero match, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Good morning, Judge, Magistrates. So we have the opportunity through this program to actually apply for 2 grants. The first one's rather simple. I'll start with it. It's just for a mannequin, for a high-fidelity mannequin for our training division. So any EMS agency here in the state that actually teaches paramedic courses can apply for this grant. So it's a $135,000 mannequin. And we want to apply for that to see if we can get that for our training division. The second grant through the same program is a little more complicated, and it involves personnel. So this was for to either create or expand community paramedicine programs. So Brandon and I have worked closely together on this one, and it would allow us to hire a full-time mental health worker for our community paramedic division. And combined between, Brandon works really close with Georgetown Police Department, and they have a team that also responds out to folks in need in the county. And combined, the 2 departments, we respond to over 700 behavioral health calls last year. So they don't have a mental health worker full-time, so this would supply that need for us and that team together. That's the first position. The second one is a part-time community paramedic that would work with Brandon. Probably he's calculated up to 20 hours a week to assist him, and his call volume and his patient load continues to grow. And with another hospital coming to town this fall that's already inquired about him doing follow-ups on their patients, we just expect that to keep growing.
But Baptist Health has followed up.
Yes, Baptist Health. Yeah, they've already reached out to him.
So just reminding everyone, right now, Brandon's community paramedicine position is partially opioid settlement funded, and then the rest is general fund, of course. But this position would be 100% grant funded.
Yes.
Is it guaranteed 2 years?
It's guaranteed 1 year with, depending on the data, so there's some pretty stringent data collecting and reporting that has to be done, and depending on how well we do that, then we're available to reapply next year and get approved for a second year.
And the biggest thing that I know you all know this, but the work that Brandon does in this community paramedicine, it just really keeps the pressure off of our 6 ambulances. It's when those people that present that need a lot of help.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, typically it's the folks that are calling 3, 4, 5 times a week or more. And so if we could go out once or twice a week and notice that pattern, we'd go ahead and involve him, and he goes out. And most of their needs and what can be handled without having an ambulance there. So he'll pick up prescriptions or take them to a doctor's appointment, or just sit and talk with them if they, whatever, arrange social worker kind of things for them.
We've seen him be helpful in various cases we've been involved with, people that are like under guardianship or things like that. He's done a great job. He's keeping things from falling through the cracks and following up. So I just want to say that.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So let me help me figure this out. So we pay for Brandon's position. Is it 50% we pay with opioid money? Okay. And the other 50% comes out through the general fund. Why would we not just apply for 50% of Brandon's salary through this grant instead of hiring someone else?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the purpose behind hiring someone is just to give him help, because he's pretty, he's getting overwhelmed. But we could do both. I assume we could apply for a part-time and or the other 50% of his salary.
Here's my fear, Judge, is when we create these positions, government doesn't eliminate these positions too often. I'm not saying that's not needed, but what I'm trying to say is that once we create a position through grants, it's hard to get rid of them. And so court needs to be sure that we're going in with the eyes wide open, that what we're essentially doing is adding another position to our payroll. I
A
mean,
part-time position.
yeah, but it's still there.
But
And then when that person leaves, the grant runs out, now we're on the hook for funding it.
Well, there's a part-time community paramedic, but there's also a full-time mental health person. So it's really 1.5 positions.
Yes.
And then it also mentions a part-time PA or nurse practitioner, but they're going to be an employee of the hospital, not
That'll
us.
be, right, that'll be an existing advanced practice provider from the hospital that we would pay 6 hours a week for them to come into the gathering place and do 3 hours, each session to provide medical care for those folks that otherwise are not going to seek it or can't afford it. So we're pretty excited about that aspect of it, and so is Heather. I think that'll have a huge impact there to be able to come in.
So when this was presented to me, the thought process is that Brandon is like a seasoned veteran, and Brandon's workload is like, he can't be like we're already exceeding like what he can do.
Yep.
I mean, the number of people and such from what was shared with me. So like my thought process is support a grant that would pay for a part-time person. We're not creating a full-time position. A part-time person that really steps in and bridges the gap on meeting the needs. And the cost to put an ambulance out to go help somebody compared to what we're doing, I can't express to you like how much we're trying to be good stewards of resources and keeping those buggies focused on trauma and those 911 calls, and not called to assist someone that
doesn't need an ambulance, right? You're correct there.
But do you understand that what typically happens in government is once these part-time positions are established, they don't hardly ever go away. They might be repositioned.
Here's the question you ask. Here's the question you have to ask. Is this needed or is it not?
Well,
No. Is it needed or is it not?
well, if it was needed, why was it not put into the budget?
Because a grant came about, and like when we're asking for 3 EMTs that's trying to keep buggies on the road, that was our focus in the budget. And like, I don't want to drown people with additional staffing, trying to be conservative and meet the needs. But when you get a grant opportunity, I don't think we're doing our job if we don't go after those grants. That's my flip side of it, Dr. Wallace. Is the position needed, and would it benefit? That's why we're applying for the grant.
I'm just concerned about the long-term effect. I understand what the short-term need is, and maybe it's a long-term need. But what has typically happened is these positions don't go away. And
can you give me an example of one?
There was a 2-year contract of the affordable housing director that we were going to have for 2 years, and now we continue to have that. We also hired a seasonal person to work at the road department to pick up trash, but now they are doing other things. I'm not saying they're not needed, but that has happened. And now that position's been used for something else, but that position's still on the books. That's what I'm trying to say, is that we got to understand that once we establish this, it's probably not going away.
I mean, it's a part-time position.
But you have the opportunity for it to go away in 2 years. We don't.
Yes.
they
We-
won't refund
absolutely.
it, and we go, well, we don't really need it anymore.
Right. And we'll have plenty of
Right? I mean,
statistics to
that's the
support
other,
that
that's
it's
the flip
needed or
side of it.
not needed, so.
I have a clarifying question. So it's a part-time community paramedic, but the grant's also for a full-time mental health.
Correct.
So there's two positions,
Two, yes.
not
One
just a
full-time,
part-time.
One part-time, yes. Actually, and with the advancement.
So it's actually,
Provider.
well, I don't even know how you do 6 hours a week. So you're actually almost asking for two full-time people if you consider the part-time community paramedic plus the part-time NP or PA and the full-time mental health.
But they are a employee of the hospital.
Right, and we've been in talks for over a year with the hospital to bring this about before this grant happened. So the plan is that they will assume the cost of that once the grant runs out, and they have indicated that that's what they want to do. If they choose not to do that at the end of the grant period, then that probably will go away.
Yeah, I don't think Chad or anybody has any issues with the hospital, the nurse practitioner's PA.
Right.
But the grant would be for us to then hire a full-time mental health person.
Correct.
And a part-time community paramedic.
Correct.
So it's actually 1.5 positions they're asking for. Can you, to Chad's point, could you do this and in the motion say if the grant ever dissolves, that the positions are dissolved?
Sure.
I mean, I don't know if that's a,
We got to get the grant first to even hire.
well, I know, but if you got the grant, could you?
All we're doing is approving an application for a grant.
So, like the SAFER grant, you just set up the positions that you sunset if the grant ever goes away. Because it's how long's the grant for?
It's guaranteed for 1 year, but depending on reporting and data collecting, we do a second year, and then
So
there's no
you could
projections
have it-
past that, so.
Sunset.
Well, I
at
mean,
the end
I'm
of the
just trying to
year.
help Chad out.
I'm just saying you could have it sunsetted.
Trying to
Okay,
save
Chad
Chad.
doesn't need any help, trust me. He's good
But
argument.
let's go back. Would I be doing my job if I didn't bring this to you all?
No,
The question.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I don't have a problem with what we're doing. I just would like the safety measure in there as well, that we revisit it if the grant goes away. Just like the SAFER grant. I mean, we can talk about when you were on city council
There was
and you want
06, I think, maybe.
6.
And those people, those firefighters are still there.
Yeah.
So if we are awarded any funds, then we have to accept the funds. And then at that time, we can put in language that meets the pleasure of the court that outlines that those positions are sunsetted at the conclusion of any grant funding. Would that make you feel better?
Yeah.
And I respect what you're saying, and I don't disagree. But I wouldn't bring it to you if I didn't think, from what was shared with me, that the positions would be, there'd be, well used and needed.
I'm going to get you both a Snickers after this.
Do you think if we don't get the grant, you think the hospital would fund more of these? The mental health or especially the part-time community care? I mean, because honestly, for you all that don't know, right, like insurance has to pay for performance, right? You go in the hospital, you get sick. If you come back in within a certain amount of days, usually 60 or 90, right, the hospital has to pay all that money back.
Yeah.
So these positions really behoove the hospital to go out and check on these patients to not come back in so they can make money, right? So, I mean, would they pay for any of
Sounds
these?
like you need to go have a meeting.
Yeah, we've talked to them about some of this stuff. We don't have any commitment, and I don't know, where they're at with their, above the local leadership, but we have had those conversations, and we'll continue to have them. We actually are meeting with them next week, so.
I mean, I think that's a good idea. Because even what if we don't get the grant? Like you're saying that these are needed. I mean, these obviously benefit them as well.
Yeah, recidivism is a big issue with them.
And, going back to why was this not put in the budget? You all, I'm just trying to be conservative, and like when we have conversations, we're trying to meet the need, but not overwhelm us with stuff. And I think over the last 8 years, we have added positions that are needed, but like we are lean. We do not have people sitting around doing nothing. That's not a reality. And, you know, you look on the second floor of this building, you know, this budget that we just passed is adding someone to help in HR and payroll. We've got 300 employees and we have no backup. I mean, it's critical to do that. So, you know, we added an IT director, you know, and we just that, you know, what we have added, I feel like it's been very appropriate, and it's not been, you know, nothing but what needs to happen.
Judge, you and I were talking in the last 1 or 2 weeks. What was that projected growth for Scott County? You had a figure.
Yeah, from the Kentucky Data Center, just released last week, the Scott County data by 2050, we're going to be right at 90, like it's 93, 95,000 people. And you all, it's 2026, and you know, like we're going to continue to grow. And I think the most important thing we need to stay focused on is providing safety, you know, public safety in roads and those services, those essential services. And I think that's what we've done. Very important point.
What about equipment for these folks
It's in
and
the grant.
vehicles and?
Vehicles in the grant, equipment, training, everything we would need to get that person certified for community paramedicine is all contained in the grant.
I guess if the position goes away, you still get
Motion to apply for the grant.
Second.
Motion is second. And I will say again,
Is it two separate grants or one grant?
It's one.
It's two grants, the same.
It's the same
pile of money.
same
The
pot of
So
money.
we only need one month.
Rural health
The
trans.
mannequin and the-
Yeah.
But let me comment one more time. I do not discount Magistrate Wallace's comments and concerns. Respect those, and if we are awarded these funds, we will make sure that we put that language in when we accept the money. So we have a motion, we second. Any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Leads me to ADU and cluster ordinance. Yesterday, we had a work session attended by probably 12, 15 people, took comment. And, you know, we have a draft ordinance for the ADUs, and we have a draft ordinance for the rural cluster text amendment as well. Is there any comment or such? And would the pleasure of the court be to bring this for your consideration on Thursday, the 25th?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be here yesterday, but it was videoed.
Videoed, yes, sir.
Okay, so.
I actually watched, that's what I did, was watch it on YouTube because I couldn't be here.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think we had a lot of good discussion. I say go ahead and bring it to the court next Thursday meeting.
I appreciate that, and well, I do think we had a lot of good discussion. You know, no matter what you put on paper, you're never going to, you know, answer every question or answer every need from different segments. The only thing that I question, and this was brought up yesterday, on the preserve acreage, you know, our purpose of this is to preserve that acreage. And I had mentioned a possible conservation easement or an ag district being overlaid on this. Cam, you feel like if we ask for that we need to send it back?
I think that's probably the best practice as the way I read the law.
Did we ever determine if that was to be annexed into the city, if that would stay that way, or?
Well,
I believe that it would, but I'm also not an expert in, like, you know, real property law, but based on the research I've done, I mean, it's a covenant that would run with the land.
let me, and your question is if there was a conservation easement on it and it was annexed.
Right.
I believe, and I'd have to defer to Cam, but I believe the conditions on that exist regardless if it's annexed or not.
Yeah, because like Philip said, Mr. Howard, he said, you know, what's going to hurt to have another park inside the city limits?
I thought about that last night. I thought if it is eventually brought into the city and they already have a, conservative easement on there, an ag easement, that was just the choice that people made. And I don't think we should go back and reverse something later in the future. That if it's annexed into the city, then it's just annexed into the city. And that needs to stay with that green space.
Similar to PDR, they made that decision.
That's exactly right. It's like a PDR decision. You set the PDR money at that time. You can't think 20 years down the road, I want to change what I've done. It's got to stay with it.
So another option I think Cam would agree with is if we pass the draft as forwarded by the Planning Commission, then we can follow up with an additional amendment
Also,
afterwards. But I think
or any other, like, that's the only amendment I've heard.
That's the only
And
thing.
I'm not anticipating necessarily more, but if there were more, you could send any of those back as a separate item. That might be cleaner procedurally.
So, and then I would like to have Cam and I have a conversation with Devin Golden and Emily from the city with that annexation question. That wouldn't hurt anything.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then, Cam, the only other thing that I would like, and this was mentioned yesterday, is if we put a sunset on it that required us to go back and review it in 3 years, is that a problem?
I don't think it's a problem. You're saying just to go back and review it, or that it would.
What was mentioned yesterday was.
What I heard him say was it would go away in 3 years and go back to the way it was.
I don't want that.
And I don't think we want. You're saying
just forced to be revisited.
Yeah.
I want
I think that's fine. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
requirement
You put a specific date in there if you want it on whatever date.
Yeah.
Well, by that date, we'll.
We would add that. Would we have to add that with? Will we pass it as written?
I don't think
and
you
then-
have to send that back because that's not a substantive change. That's just requiring you to review it.
Okay.
I have one question, and I don't know if this will be a substantive change, but, and I agree with Chad's comment yesterday that I think I'm going to have to lean in favor of the whole septic being on the property, the owners, and not getting put back into the reserve. I think my experience with HOAs, they come and go, and they're hard to manage, and if you're expecting HOA to have to fix somebody's sewer problem, that presents big problems in the future. I think it's, and I don't know, like right now, I guess it was saying if we went to half-acre lots, it may not be possible to put the septic all on one lot. And I don't know if that means it's going to have to be a 2-acre, and each property is different. And, I guess, not trying to open up a can, but if we're going to talk about it next week, it might be something that goes back anyway. I'm not sure if that's.
I mean, is that something that we could address immediately after, like with the conservation easement annexation question? Like, I don't feel great about it. Just becomes it opens the door for messiness.
That's right.
I mean, is that what y'all would agree with? If it's not, in HOAs, Kelly's 100% correct. They're here today and gone tomorrow. Rick?
So I think we talked about this. Obviously, I wasn't here yesterday, so I don't know. Maybe it got mentioned, but when's the last time, the actual year that I think it was Matt Welch that did the cluster development out off Ironworks?
Winding Oaks.
Yeah,
Probably
Winding
10
Oaks.
years ago that he proposed that. That's like 10 years.
Yeah.
Probably 10 years.
Right.
And so my point with wanting to know that, and I think you're right, it was in our first term,
That's right.
or my first term. So it's been 10 or so years ago, and there's been none of those since. So what we have now, nobody's using it, so we're not saving any. We're not preserving any farmland. So I thought that that's what the reason for visiting this and trying to figure out a way. So we already.
You came to all those meetings.
Right.
And
So, I mean, if we're going to do something, what we have now is not preserving anything because nobody's using it, which tells me, I'm not a developer, but it tells me that developers have figured out they can't make any money, or what, I guess. I can't speak for developers, and I'm not one, right? So, but it's not been happening. So whatever we do going forward, we can always revisit it, but if we maintain the status quo, we save no farmland with the cluster development. So just a comment.
It just takes, all this is, in my book, is a tool that gives someone another option when considering their land and how to develop their land.
Yeah.
Many farmers that are not continuing to farm, that's their 401k, that's their, and instead of dividing it off into 5-acre lots, this gives an option that you can preserve X and have some development. And I shared this, and I want to share it again. 2010, there were 1,431 5-acre tracts that amounted to 7,310 acres in the A1 zone. In 2026, we have 1,891. That's a difference in 460 parcels in 16 years. And it's a total of 9,438 acres in those parcels, which is a difference of 2,128 acres. 16 years, I don't call that a tsunami of land going away from A1. And I can tell you as well that, and I don't have the new figure for 26, but in September of 24, from 2010 to September of 24, the total acreage that left A1 was 1% in that time period. 1%. So, you know, is it a real concern that, you know, when you look and look holistically about trying to preserve farmland? Yeah, we want to try to have balance, but I don't think that I don't think we're drowning in that right
Have you shot those numbers out to us before?
Yeah,
I thought I'd seen them.
Yeah, but that Whitley did from September 24 to 26. So, but I think all we're trying to do is present another option that gives the potential for some preservation. And you know, we've got $500,000 in the budget for the PDR program. You know, we're got applications pending there. You know, I think we're trying to address the concerns that were brought to us, and that's what this is. So we'll put this on the agenda for the 25th for consideration. But between now and then, Cam and I will talk with the city about the annexation question and about the conservation easement, and look at the option of following right up with another amendment that's standalone from what we could pass on the 25th. And the other question, to respect of what Kelly's concern is, and I think everybody probably agrees about the septic having to stay on the parcel.
I was just going to add to that one. You want to go? Go.
Go ahead.
You go.
No, you're good.
You guys are so
No, you're
polite.
good. You're adding to that.
I just want to add to that.
Gentlemen.
Mr. Tingle, and I think this could be a good option, last Friday when he was here, talked about this specific thing. We could also maybe look at, because it says that if you go into the preserve with a septic, you have to add that acreage on. And then he mentioned then just fencing off the area that goes into the preserve or something like that. So I think that could be an option instead of like limiting to like, hey, you cannot have a half-acre lot because, you know, you can have half-acre, but you have to fence off any septic area that's in this preserve. It's not really part of the preserve.
And that was my concern.
It says the-
Like, who would take care of that preserve area if your septic fails and it's your house and you have to get a new septic system? And they come in and they tell you, like, unfortunately, this doesn't work. It was a bad install. You need a whole new thing. It's $8,000. So they're going to assess all your homeowners. HOA is going to assess everyone that money to put your septic back in that works.
But why would HOA be responsible?
Well, because somebody has to be responsible for this preserve area that he's talking.
But the homeowner should be responsible.
If it's
because
on your property, you're responsible. If it's in the preserved HOA area,
Okay, see, I missed that. I think the homeowner should be responsible, not the
Then you want it on your
HOA.
property, which was my point. I don't think HOAs do a great job of, in my experience, when I've seen situations like that pop up, all the other homeowners go, oh, I don't want to pay for your septic.
Right.
Would the HOA own the preserve? Who would own the preserve?
Yes.
Well,
The HOA
HOA.
or the builder?
Well, they turn it over to the HOA eventually.
Well, do they have to even start?
They
the
could.
HOA?
They could. They don't have to.
I've got a subdivision, the HOA is getting ready to sunset Ironworks Estates in 2 years. I got Lancelot, they got an HOA and they don't have an HOA. And they got HOA property.
What's that share?
So
Yeah.
we'll do just a little bit more fact finding on the septic question about what we're discussing, and then
One more comment. I said this yesterday, I'll say it again. Whatever we do on this ordinance here, I think our real problem is the 5-acre tract, which I think you'll agree, Kelly. We're gonna have to look at that sooner or later, what we're gonna do with 5-acre lots. Either we need to decrease them or make them larger, one way or another. Because we're not doing anything with that, with this ordinance.
But
It does give people a different avenue to go, but
I think this gives them another avenue, but like we sat through those meetings, and when anybody mentioned raising the minimum lot size without some type of compensation,
yeah.
no one raised their hand to
Yeah.
support that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that if that's what the court wants to do, then the court can pursue it. I would have real concerns about going down that road because of private property rights and the.
But I mean, if we're concerned about 5-acre lots, that's what we're gonna have to look at.
But the numbers that I shared, over those 16 years, I don't think that's a tsunami of development of 5-acre lots. Do you think it is? I mean, do you think it's?
I mean, you drive out in the county, all road frontage is 5-acre lots. And I mean, you go to county roads, everywhere you go, there's houses everywhere out there now. You look up northwestern part of the county, up in my district.
What would you?
There's a lot of 5-acre
What would
lots
you
up
pursue? Like?
Oh, I'm not gonna. I'm just saying, sooner or later, if that's what we're worried about, we're gonna actually have to look at it.
So are you like saying, like at one time, and you sat in these meetings with me, there was a mention of a mini cluster, like going on a 5-acre lot and letting you build 3 houses off one driveway.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what you're talking about?
I don't know what the solution is, but
Well, I don't either, and I don't have that solution today.
I hope that maybe this one is, I'm still a little concerned about this ordinance, but
I think
I just
I
want
think
those.
there's a lot of work gone into it.
it has, it's been a lot of work.
And we'll bring it. David?
So, a couple things. When you're talking about the 1% in the last 10 years or so, I think what's important is
10 to 26.
where, okay, 14 years, where is that 1%? Because is it the prime 1%? Or is it,
necessarily.
that's
No,
the,
it's all-
but,
It's a total A1 is what it
right,
is.
that's what I'm saying though, but it's probably some of the best, very best A1 if you're looking at it. The other thing is too, what is the domino, I'm kind of talking in favor of all this because what is the domino effect? I would like to be able to move out to 1.5 acres, 2 acres. It's not available. I don't want 5 acres. I don't want to spend $300,000 on 5 acres. I don't need it. But if this came into play, I would look at considering moving to a cluster subdivision, which opens up my home for another purchaser that may be looking to buy in Bradford Place. So I look at that domino effect of how it gives others that might be younger people to buy their first home or go into their first home without having to go and build and do all those things that they may not want to do. And I don't know which one of you all I would run against if I moved to a different district.
Well, we will bring this to you all, and we'll follow up with additional information about those two questions or topics next week. Moving from there, John Ward, Chief John Ward's here. I sent an email out yesterday. There is money, Michelle Ray confirmed, in FY26 that would support the purchase of some fitness equipment. We put in FY27 some additional money for fitness equipment, but John's just trying to address the need and would like to use money out of this year's budget. I'm not asking for a vote. The money's there. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew on the same page. Anybody have any concerns about moving forward with that? All right, John, push order on those. And then Station 1 this past week, Branch Sarah Carroll kind of did a kickoff meeting with staff coming and meeting John Ward, myself, at Station 1, looking at the kitchen, looking at the day room, looking at the sleeping quarters, and they're going to put together a plan of action, and I'll be sharing that with you all when we get that. Justice Center progress. We had a PDB meeting this past Thursday. I think 68% of the funding has been allocated. Giving you an example of the progress on the building. Masonry on the exteriors progressing. The west side will start getting bricks on top of that precast stone on the bottom. I think 90% was a number shared about not masonry, but sheetrock on the inside. I mean, it's moving along. The interior stairs, as you come in the building, the main hallway have been installed. They're getting those. What's the precast? What's the stone flooring, Dwayne? I've lost my mind. The type of terrazzo. So the terrazzo precast stairs will be going in on there and such. So that thing, we're still looking at November as a finish line. Anytime any of y'all want to walk through, please let me know, and we'll get you in there. Magistrate, pardon?
Where your heart at?
Yeah. Magistrate Wallace brought to us the possible consideration for restrictions for county roads for semi-truck traffic going through there. And Cam, you've drafted a draft ordinance. I'm going to ask Cam to send that to you all for your review. Do you want to put that on?
I'm sorry, I would add that I think JR is trying to contact some other counties. So do you want to maybe give him a chance to do that? And then, yeah, I'm happy to send something out.
So JR do a little bit more research.
I think you're reaching out to maybe Woodford and maybe some others. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but I just know you need some time maybe to look into that.
Yeah, I need some time.
Okay.
It'd be July.
You want to just push it to July?
Yeah.
All right, we'll push it to July. I just didn't want to leave that undiscussed, but Cam has done a draft ordinance. And then the last thing I have is the city and I have talked at length about some gateway signage, and we have money in the budget, and we've talked about exit 69 on I-64, exit 126 off I-75, Highway 25 from Lexington, right there in the gateway, and then Highway 460 at the bypass. What we discussed is like the county paying for 2, city paying for 2, and tourism actually is considering the contribution as well. But the city has asked if the county would consider holding the contract for the agreement for the design and construction because of the signage out in the county, outside the city limits. Would you all object to us presenting to you all a proposal for the design and construction of these type of signs, and then, of course, we'd have a cost breakdown. Does that make sense to you all?
Does that mean the county's in the oversight of it as well?
Yes. I mean, if we're holding the contract, then we'd over. I mean, is that what you understood?
There was an email about, you mentioned doing an MOU. I guess that would address costs and maybe oversight and that kind of thing.
What type of signage are we talking? Are we talking like the green sign says like "Welcome to"?
No.
Or are we talking like something
We're talking
like?
about a gateway sign that's got "Welcome to Georgetown, Scott County." A significant, stone. I don't know. Not as big as Bowling
Not
Green.
as green Bowling Green, but
Is this
okay.
on the interstate, Judge, or just off the exit?
Well, it's right there off the ramp at exit 69 at I-64.
Because my whole goal years ago was to try to get stamping ground on that interchange. We've been told that there's not enough tourism and all that coming through stamping ground, which I think with school buses and stuff, there is. So I think we can try to incorporate it a little bit. If we can incorporate in there a little bit to maybe get stamping ground on one of those signs too.
Where would you put it?
I don't know. That's why I was asking where, what you're trying to do there.
Oh, you're talking about welcome to Georgetown, Scott County, and Stamping Ground.
Yeah, or something, just so people know stamping ground's even around.
You're not going to leave out Sadieville, are you?
Well, Sadieville's got their own exit up there. Sadieville's got their own exit. And yes, we need to do something up that way too. I agree. But I agree with what you're trying to do. I do.
I think the City Commission of Stamping Ground needs to pursue that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I did when I was on city stamping ground. We were told we just didn't have enough tourism. So.
As far as this moving forward, Judge, the county taking over the contract, do we need a motion or do we need a?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
just
in
bring
favor
it.
for the county.
I'll bring to you all
Yeah.
the MOU and the.
Yeah, as long as the county's overseeing the project, I'm good with that.
Well, I have no other new business. Any new business from any magistrate?
So can we go back to the Hall of Justice for a moment? So let's just play this out a little bit. Let's just say it gets in by the end of the year. We know delays could happen. So moving forward, because I had a conversation with Jim Burgess at building inspector this week. So the plan moving forward is, I would assume there'll be plans put in place with the jailer, building inspection, electrical inspection, planning and zoning on what's going to happen with the current Justice Center and.
Here's what I think. We need to have BCI look at the second and the third floor and say, hey, if we went down to studs and redid those courtrooms, here's how your offices could be laid out. And then what agency does that meet the needs of? Whoever.
Sure.
And then do you want to expend funds in next year's budget to do that type of renovation? The first floor should automatically just be the detention center for admin, and however Jailer Broyles wants to use that area. That's the clerk's area now, and then the court make a decision after BCI does an assessment. The court make a decision on how you all want to proceed there.
But it'll all be, and we'll kind of plan all that for next year's, for 27-28
Right.
budget.
Right.
Yeah.
And BCI, we can get BCI to work on it this fall, and do I don't think it costs a ton for them to give us a rendering of here's what some office space you could get office space out of, and going.
Don't forget, we need to sell the corners off, both corners off.
We might be doing that all, we might be looking at the jail, the old jail and the coroner's office all at the same time. Is that
Yeah.
kind of what the thing?
And Cam has
Sell
a.
it.
Yeah, and that's my thought.
That's with a conservation easement on the old jail. And Cam's got something drawn up as a draft, and when the city gets out, we'll navigate that. But
I'm just thinking ahead, because Jim had asked me what the timeline was, and I told him, I said, until everybody's moved out, of the existing
make
Justice
any-
Center, I don't expect anybody to come in there and start looking at what they would do. You know what I'm saying? Until everything's clean.
No new curtain work until we get them out.
Yeah, that's right.
Is there any appetite for looking at, like, I'm just thinking long-term, like we talked about, costs will never go down, so I was looking at other revenue streams. Instead of selling something, like renting it, like I know it can stink to be in the, like, rental business, but like the old coroner's office, right? Like, could we rent it and get long-term income from it, right? I mean,
Sell it.
I mean, you could, Ryan, you could rent it, yes, and get a lease, but we're still responsible for, unless you did a triple net lease, that they were responsible for the upkeep. Now, just so everybody's clear, tourism has asked me about the old coroner's office, and tourism, that they didn't say no to buying it. So, I don't, so.
Let's get it on the agenda.
So,
That's a real.
they,
Sales for nothing.
let me ask you, maybe we need to look, if we're selling it to another agency, do we have to put it out for bid? If it's like a,
I think so.
could we surplus it to,
Yes.
tourism for X dollars?
Typically, like the renting and or selling, when you're doing it to exchange of other government buildings, I think we can go
So can we,
go down that path.
can we do a little,
Let me follow up on that, but
As long as they pay the appraised value.
Are they quasi-governmental?
yeah, they're
Yeah.
quasi, right?
Well, then,
Kind of like Chad, you probably want to.
They're SPEG.
Fair market value.
Yeah.
so we'll follow up on that. Any other questions? Any business from anyone here?
Hey, Judge.
Sheriff Nettles, as always, we're always glad to hear from you.
It just came to my head. We have a 2013, I was talking with JR, Ford Explorer,
2013.
that has a rusted frame. I've checked into maybe getting it fixed, but the cost is pretty high, so I don't think it's worth our investment into that vehicle. I have an individual that I went to the academy with that works at the Leslie County Sheriff's Office. They're in a real need of vehicles, and I believe this vehicle would still be a good use for them, and I would like to surplus it to them if that would be all right with the
Can we
court.
put it on the next agenda? Is it a hurry?
No, it is not a
Okay,
hurry.
send me the VIN. I don't have the VIN.
Okay,
Put it on the next agenda and we'll share the information.
all right, thank you.
Anything else? Anything going once,
Judge,
going twice?
Judge,
Rick Costello.
What,
Never seen them.
was that substantial completion? Did you say no?
Substantial completion
November?
into November.
So they'll probably be in it first of next year, if everything goes right.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? All those in favor, please say aye. We adjourn.
I knew it was.